Welcome to the Gals Guide podcast. Join us on an adventure to get to know famous and infamous women from around the world. Each of our presenters has a pick. Is she ancient history? Is she breaking news? Is she safe for work? Well, that's up to each presenter. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back. I'm Katie, and I'm joined by Leah, Bonnie, and Amy. We are spending a year focusing on personal and collective well-being by learning from women of history. This month's theme is Nourishment the Table. Bonnie already talked about Claire Saffet, and Amy shared about Alexis Nicole Nelson. And before I share my pick, I want to ask a question about well-being. It's well-being, but also a little fun, what I want to know. I want to know either the holiday food you look forward to the most, or just a family tradition. Maybe you fear it coming, but it's one your family will never give up, like a traditional food that has to be on the table, or share both.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I can go with the first one that came to mind, and I'm really stretching this holidayness because, Buddhist, so I don't generally do a lot of the Christian holidays. But
Buddhists don't do a lot of holiday foods, though, do they? Well, you have traditional foods, but they're like ceremonial more, right?
Right, exactly.
Not gluttonous.
And some of them I can't find the ingredients for. So it's I've had it like maybe one time when somebody else made it, but it's not like a repetitive, I don't have it that often. I had a friend who made me shang, and that was delicious. Don't even know what was in it, but it's a traditional drink, and I had heard about it for years, and I finally had it, and it was great. I'll probably not have it again. But the one that came to mind is, so I used to do a Burns night. The haggis.
Yes. Oh, God.
Actually really... I thought haggis was like a salty corned beef. It would come around.
You know what it is now, right?
I know what it is. I knew what it was when I had it. And I just went, I'm just going to do this on a dare. We were the haggis virgins. Everybody who had never had it before had to be a haggis virgin. And we all stood there and everybody watched us eat it for the first time. And I was like, that's kind of salty and delicious. I really like this. So I haven't
had it. So.
Crave it. Yeah.
Oh,
it's great.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to go for.
I'm not going to yuck on your yum. Go for it.
There you go. That's the second time I've heard this in the last 24 hours. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. That's wild. Anybody top that?
I can't top that, but before I say our family food, I have a great story about my son when he was in, I think, kindergarten. And they were talking about traditions, and he had to they had a little thing and they wrote, "What's your family tradition?" And my son said, "Making bologna sandwiches."
Yeah.
Yep. That's sweet.
And I got the email.
How poor
teacher,
are you?
What is he talking about?
Bologna
and I was
sandwiches.
Like, what? I said, we have tons of family traditions. But what it was is that for one summer, that's the only thing he wanted in his lunchbox at summer camp. Aww. And so every morning we made a bologna sandwich. And so that was his tradition.
There you go.
Making bologna sandwiches.
Oh, it's funny what sticks in your mind. Yeah. My mom used to make those, but she'd make fried bologna. So it ended up looking like a boob. You know the thing.
Yeah.
Where you don't
split
the center. Yeah. And I used to get so mad if she put the top on and smashed it before I got to see the bubble.
Want to see the boob?
Yeah, that was important to me, to see the bubble in it.
Oh my gosh.
Memories.
Yeah. But my family's tradition is my dad was Hungarian and my mom was German, and they were both second generation in this country. So it was a lot of those traditions were there. My grandparents, my dad's parents never learned English. I mean, it's a whole thing. But my mom, for every Christmas, she learned how to make these Hungarian cookies called kifli. And they're a big pain in the butt. You have to make the dough and it has to chill. And then you have to roll the little disc out. And then she actually used an old meat grinder with a crank, and we ground walnuts. It was it's the biggest pain in the patoot to make these. And then you had to put the little filling in, and you had to roll it up and then roll it in powdered sugar. And it would be at this whole assembly line. The entire family would be in the kitchen making these stupid cookies for my dad. They don't even taste that great, honestly. I mean, they're nice with a cup of tea, but it's not like a big, like, luscious chocolate cookie or like sugar cookie with frosting or gingerbread. I mean, they're
you
just
don't
like,
crave them.
No, it's walnuts and raisins and orange juice in like a weird pastry. It's not just. And every year we'd make them, and I am talking like 30, 40 years in a row. My dad would always say they were wrong.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
This
Not the
isn't
way
right. This isn't right.
Not
And
good
finally,
enough. No.
I know. And finally, after like, I don't know, 20 years, Mom was like, you don't even remember what they're like anymore.
Right.
And we still make them. My dad passed when I was in college, so a million years ago. And our family still makes them. And every year we make them, somebody says, these aren't right. And we're like, you weren't even alive.
Nice.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and they aren't even good, but we make hundreds of them.
Right.
We're mailing them across the country. They are so gross. And it takes an entire day, and we all just get drunk, and we all have our assignments. And I'm never assigned anything because I am not a cook. I'm not allowed to do anything. I just sit there. I'm like
supervise.
I don't even know.
But have you ever been the one that said, these aren't right?
No, I don't know what they're supposed to taste like. And
you need to be assigned that role. It's your turn this year.
God.
2026.
And
your year to shine.
We've given all the roles have dumb names. Like the person who makes the filling into the little thing, that's the cat turd maker. Cat turd.
Yeah.
I think I want to participate this year. Right? Can you invite me?
Please come. Please bring a bottle of wine. Or my sister's a winemaker. We always have tons of wine.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Just
prepare for
drunk, make Keeflies. When the first one comes out, say these aren't right.
These aren't right. Can I throw it on the ground?
Oh yes, please. One less.
Take one out of its misery.
Because we all end up with hundreds in our freezer, and we're like pulling them out in like June. Like, what is in this baggie? And like,
no.
That's fantastic.
Oh no.
I can't top that. But Bonnie, what you got?
I got nothing. I come from very bland, boring nothingness. No, I mean, we just have, I'm not even that big into holiday food. Is the other thing. Like,
is there anything you look forward to eating?
I don't like turkey. I don't like graving. I like the smell of stuffing, and I like having to like make it, like tear up the toast. I don't like eating it. It's a weird, soggy breadness. I can't do it.
Part of it is the preparation because you get together with people to make it. Yeah, that's an important part too. Yeah.
I don't think we even do. Well, we don't even do that anymore either. I've got family in Florida and Texas, and we don't get together all that often. I've been kind of going with Trey's family for a lot of stuff, and that we usually they do a breakfast or a Christmas like brunch and stuff, like the Christmas food.
Breakfast is good.
Yeah, but
pepperoni rice,
that's just
baby.
Regular. Yeah, but that's just regular breakfast food. I think the closest thing would probably be when Grandma would come up from Evansville. Her family's from Kentucky, and so we would, only when she comes up, make pimento cheese, which is a southern thing.
Yeah.
Which I also do not enjoy eating. It's like, I don't like any of the food. I don't like the cereal. I don't like the turkey. No, I would like helping to shred the cheese, and then I could have the little cheese nugget at the end. But yeah, I think it's adding the mayo and it being pasty. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't like it. We did have over at the I think it's called H&C Tavern. Trey had his holiday work party, and they had, I think they were supposed to be like fried cheese balls, but the cheese in there was pimento cheese, and those were very tasty. I tried those.
There you go.
So maybe they just need to be fried.
Yeah.
When in
doubt,
what
everything should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Fried ice cream.
I love fried food.
Katie, what about you?
We have quite a lot because we're foodie people. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you were to ask me my parents' hobbies, I would say going out to eat. Where's the shame in that, right?
Yeah. It's good.
I would say one of the most important probably would be our Christmas Eve dinner. And every year having the cheddar broccoli soup as the appetizer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's a recipe my grandma got from a restaurant in Muncie because she lived in Muncie, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And she liked this recipe so much I can't remember the name of the restaurant now. It's closed, long closed. I think she got the recipe sometime in the 60s or 70s.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But she ate it at a restaurant and liked it so well, she asked the chef for the recipe.
Nice. Like you do.
So, yep. So it's that recipe, and we've made it ever since she got it for Christmas Eve. So, and of course, it used to be my mom that made it, but now my brother and I are in charge of making it every year at her house.
Sweet.
So, yep.
And no pressure. No. Pretty soon it won't even taste right.
Well,
somebody will say it doesn't taste right.
Here's the thing. It's gotten better since my brother and I have started making it.
I'm not surprised.
Because I love my mom very much, but she's not really into cooking. And my brother and I are really into cooking, but we had to teach ourselves from watching like the Food Network.
Your mom's
fresh
into
garlic
ordering.
Wasn't an ingredient
at
our house. Mm-hmm. She and my dad might be foodies.
Yes.
But, we grew up eating Schwan meals from the frozen truck.
Oh, yeah.
Those
and
pizzas.
Eating out. Yeah. So we've actually upgraded their cooking since we learned to cook.
Look at you elevating a dish.
Yeah, we came back and taught them a few things. Yeah.
Beautiful.
But
I like it. Well,
yes, I'm afraid we were not part of a culinary family where skills were passed down like the lady I will be sharing with you guys, but that's okay.
Totally fine. Different strokes, different folks. Yeah.
It skips generations sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Although, my parents were also both very career people and focused and busy and, not everybody focuses on the cookings, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, we all do our things.
Yep. We all have a certain set of skills, Liam Neeson's.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. We all have our passions and our I think it took me a long time to realize cooking could also just be kind of an art form.
Oh,
and a hobby. Mm-hmm. We see it not as that because we kind of are forced to do it to some extent.
Yeah.
But there's people that do it more this is fun and my art expression, and there's people that do it I have to eat to live.
Right.
Yeah. And that's fair.
Exactly.
That's fair. It's a spectrum.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter jelly time.
Right. However, I'm going to be talking to you about an actual queen.
Oh.
I'm going to be telling you about the Queen of Creole Cuisine.
Ooh, sweet.
Next, I will be introducing you to Leah Chase.
Yay!
Yes. She is considered the Queen of Creole Cuisine. Mm-hmm. She was born in Louisiana. She was born in Madisonville in 1923, January 6th. She was the second oldest, of a very large family. There have been different reports of how many children, but basically anywhere from 10 to 13 children.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Very,
very large family.
You lose track over 10. Once there's 10, it's and then too many.
My guess is the reason with the fluctuation is also during that time period, some of them may have passed earlier.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I get it.
My guess is maybe there were 13, but maybe some of them didn't live all the way to adulthood kind of
and maybe
thing.
They didn't talk about it and stopped. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So maybe that's why things are reported kind of differently.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, so she kind of was born to a smaller community in Louisiana. And by the time she was 6 years old, the Great Depression was happening.
It was a thing.
Mm-hmm. It was a thing that happened. Mm-hmm. So during that time, her family really had to survive on the produce that they grew themselves, the okra, the peas, the greens. She recalls wearing clothes made of sacks that had been used for rice and flour. Mm-hmm. So the children during that time had to work really hard on a 20-acre farm that grew strawberries that her father owned.
Gotcha.
Her father's family owned. And so during that time, she really did learn where food came from, was really connected to the land, and spent a lot of time cooking with her mom, learning about different ingredients, how to use them, and, how to get the most out of the fresh ingredients that she had on hand. Mm-hmm. So I think that kind of set up her like culinary knowledge. She also came from a family that had ancestry that was African, French, and Spanish.
Nice.
So she did have that Creole background. So she was learning all of these Creole restaurants at home during this time. When she did get old enough to go to high school, she had to move to New Orleans because there was no high school in her small town where she could go as a Black woman. Mm-hmm. So she lived with her aunt so she could graduate from high school. It was there that she was introduced to the city of New Orleans, and she found it very lively and exciting. She realized then that she was a people person. Mm-hmm. She wanted to be where she could meet interesting people and experience life. So she graduated high school at 16 and moved back to the farm. And she worked there for a couple years, but really in her small community, the only kind of work that was available to her were domestic jobs of cleaning white people's houses.
Right.
And she's like, that's not what I'm looking for. That's not for me.
Right. It's not filling. Yeah.
No. So
barely pays the bills to begin with. Yeah.
Right. So she decided, well, I'm sure she had to spend a lot of time also convincing her parents that the thing for her to do was to move back to New Orleans and stay with her aunt and find employment in the city.
Yeah, there you go.
Which was honestly at that time very non-traditional for a young woman of 18 from a small city or small town of Madisonville. And her father, her family was very Catholic Creole, very traditional, very Catholic.
Makes sense.
Very Catholic conservative.
Right.
But they said, sure, go live with your aunt, get a job in the city. So she moved to New Orleans. And at first, she had a job marking racehorse boards for a bookie in New Orleans.
Oh, hey.
Then she also was the first woman to do that, to work for the bookie. She also was an overseer of 2 non-professional boxers.
Nice.
Okay.
But her favorite job was working as a waitress at the Colonial Restaurant and the Coffee Pot in the French Quarter for $1 a day.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
And it was at that job that she really learned about hospitality and waiting tables, welcoming customers, and kind of having, working that restaurant environment. And she really fell in love with that job. However, she wanted to work also in the kitchen, but there are only men working in the kitchen. Yes. And she kind of asked them, well, why is this? And they said, well, women aren't strong enough to pick up the heavy pots and move them around. Yeah,
Except
that's what she thought too. Yeah. So she was, she said, I'll pick them up and prove you guys wrong. And I'm sure she did, but she never was able to cook in that kitchen. However, around this time, she also met her future husband, Edgar Dooky Chase II.
The second.
Nice.
Dooky is in parentheses, so it is a nickname.
Yes.
That's what parentheses mean, right?
There we go.
I mean, I know it does, but I just wanted to do lots of air quotes with my fingers that nobody can see.
On a podcast, yes.
Yeah, on a podcast.
It's just for us.
He was known by Dooky.
Nice.
She married him in 1946. He was a jazz trumpeter. Yeah,
sure.
Okay, why did that sound weird? Like I was making up a word.
Oh, yeah.
He was a trumpeter, like a chocolatier. He was a trumpeter, just a trumpeter.
Right, exactly.
Sorry,
I think
trumpeter. Trumpeter? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a word.
I think both of those work.
Yep.
They're both words?
It's like a flautist.
A flautist? Are you a trumpeter or a trumpeteer? Can that one be a sticker? I don't even know if it's funny. It seems like it right now.
I'm
going off the rails.
Like trumpeteer.
There you go.
Pianist is the worst, though. They need to change that one.
A puppeteer. A puppeteer? Can you be a puppeteer? Or you have to be a puppeteer?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Puppeteer. Okay, I'm done.
Right.
So, Dooky's parents owned a street corner stand in Tremaine that was founded in 1941 that sold lottery tickets and homemade po' boy sandwiches. So a real casual sort of place.
Yay, I love a po' boy. Yep.
Right? Me too. Fried food again for the win.
Yes, always. Always.
Yes. Always a great choice, but not for longevity and health, but for obvious
not for your aortas.
Yeah. So Leah began working in the kitchen at that restaurant in the 1950s. And over time, Leah and Dooky took over the stand and they converted it into a sit-down restaurant establishment and named it Dooky Chase's Restaurant.
Cute.
Not Leah's restaurant, but that's fine. That's fine. It's totally fine.
I mean, when you do have the name Dooky, I feel like you should probably
get top billing. Yeah.
Chase.
I mean,
Dooky
Green
Chase.
Day had an album called Dooky, so
I mean, it's a winner.
Yeah.
So she eventually updated the menu to reflect her own family's Creole recipes, as well as recipes that were also Creole but very popular at the time, like shrimp clemenceau.
Ooh, that sounds fancy.
I had to look up for you guys because, of course, I didn't know, believe it or not.
I don't know that one. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Shrimp clemenceau is a rich and flavorful New Orleans dish of shrimp, mushroom, pea, and potato in a white wine and butter sauce.
All right.
It is very warm and comforting.
Okay. I dig it.
However, the thing that's most interesting about that is that this is a dish that is not normally available to Black customers at this time in the city. It's only sold at white establishments, like fancy sit-down white dining places.
Wow.
So her sit-down restaurant is the first time that African-American patrons can sit down and order shrimp clemenceau and some of the other more fine dining Creole dishes.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm. Fancy dining.
And freedom. Fancy freedom.
Fancy freedom. The other thing that's so important about her establishment is that during this time, she also starts hosting meetings for civil rights activists.
Nice.
Yes. So she hosted Black voter registration campaign organizers.
Yay.
The NAACP, other Black political meetings, including local civil rights leaders like A.P. Turin, French name.
Okay.
Ernest Dutch Moreau. See how confident we are?
French.
And later, even Martin Luther King and the Freedom Riders came.
Look at that. You nailed that one, though. Good job.
Yeah, I did.
Sweet.
So they would hold secret meetings and private strategy discussions in their upstairs meeting rooms while she served them gumbo and fried chicken.
Yes.
So a lot of these meetings were even meetings where they had Black men and white men meeting to discuss civil rights issues. Mm-hmm. So that meant like dining in, a mixed dining room, which was illegal at the time. Right. And it wasn't, so having an unsegregated dining room, which was illegal in the South at that time. Mm-hmm. And like the authorities knew that this was these things were happening, but they would turn a blind eye to that because they didn't want to shut down her establishment because it was so popular that they were afraid of public backlash.
They liked the food.
If they were to try to do something.
Food wins some battles nicely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
One of the other big discussions that happened at her establishment was when she had Martin Luther King and the Freedom Riders come down to learn about the bus boycott they did in Baton Rouge. Mm-hmm. Like people from Baton Rouge came and they met at her establishment so they could impart the wisdom that they learned in Baton Rouge and how that went, so they could do the Montgomery bus boycotts.
Nice.
So they really talked a lot about planning that out at her establishments.
Yay.
Yeah. And then also there were no Black-owned banks in New Orleans. So the other thing she would do is that people in her community would go to her on Friday nights, and her customers and regulars, patrons that she trusted, she would cash their checks for them on Fridays, and they would stay and have a drink and order a po' boy.
There you go.
So those are some of the early things she was able to do for her community, to help them during this, time of segregation and, fight for civil rights, hosting these meetings and helping them survive in their community and offering them a space to go to, have a great meal, have a sit-down meal, celebrate, step out, have a fancy time.
Have some community.
Have a community. Yeah. The other thing is that she was very interested in the arts. She studied art in high school. She loved the arts. And so she had live bands. So she wanted to always have music and support musicians in her establishments.
Well, she's got the trumpeter husband.
That's right. She also loved the fine arts.
Yeah.
So she would find Black artists and hang their art or even their sculptures around. Nice. So she essentially ended up with a little mini art museum within her restaurant because she had art hanging all around. Trying to see what they said about it. It was known as an art gallery due to its extensive African American art collection.
Yay!
Thanks. Yeah. I thought this was a lot to think about too. Okay, so she studied art, but because museums were segregated in the Jim Crow South, she was 54 the first time she was able to visit an art museum.
Oh,
dumb.
Yeah.
Man.
She eventually, in 1972, was able to sit on the board of the New Orleans Museum of Art.
Oh, yay.
She began catering gallery openings in her early career for other African Americans who wanted to show their art.
Yay.
She started collecting African American art after her husband gave her a Jacob Lawrence painting. So she soon started displaying dozens of paintings and sculptures by African American artists like Elizabeth Carlett and John T. Biggers, as well as hiring those local musicians who played. She was also very supportive of her community by being on different boards in the community. She was on the Louisiana Children's Museum Board, the Urban League of Greater New Orleans, and the Greater New Orleans Foundation. During Hurricane Katrina, basically Dooky's 6th Ward was completely gutted and closed. She and her husband spent more than a year living in a FEMA trailer across from the restaurant. Yeah. And this is when she was probably already in her 80s.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, Hurricane Katrina was at 2005?
2005. Yeah, probably, because 2006 is when they got together to hold a fundraiser for her.
She's like 80.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah. So, right. So they had a fundraiser on April 14th, 2006, where they were charging anywhere from $75 to $500 a person for gumbo, fried chicken, and bread pudding.
It's a fundraiser. Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. The guests consumed 50 gallons of gumbo and raised $40,000 for 82-year-old Leah.
Oh.
So she was able to reopen the restaurant. She also joined the Women of the Storm, a coalition of women from the neighborhood who lobbied Congress for funds to restore New Orleans after Katrina. Name. Yeah. She also went to Washington, D.C. to speak to Congress and the White House during that time. So she was able to reopen, and after reopening, also had George W. Bush and Barack Obama come eat at her restaurant. I saw a clip of her talking about Obama eating there and how she yelled at him because he got her gumbo and immediately started putting hot sauce on it. And she said, "You don't put hot sauce on my gumbo."
No.
Didn't like that. Yeah.
Right. Fun.
So the cool thing is that if you were to take a trip to New Orleans today, even though Leah has passed on, she died at age 96. 96. She died on June 1st, 2019 at age 96.
Oh, goodness.
But her restaurant is still open. Her kids and her grandchildren are still running it.
Oh, great.
So you can still visit Dooky Chase and have a shrimp clemenceau.
Yes, there you go. Yes.
Should you wish to. And I feel like if you were to look online, you would see so much more about her that I probably didn't cover because she has so many awards and things she has won. I will say that she has numerous honorary college degrees.
Sweet.
She did win a James Beard Foundation's Who's Who Award in 2010. The Southern Food and Beverage Museum in New Orleans, Louisiana, has a permanent gallery in honor of her.
Oh,
so you could eat at her restaurant and go see a little gallery exhibit of hers. Even the Smithsonian has one of her cooking. It's the National Museum of African American History and Culture has one of her chef coats on display, and I think the Smithsonian might have one of her pictures because there have been a few different art things done of her. And there's even, I forget which jazz musician even has a song that mentions her restaurant in it. Aww. So there's many cultural references to her, and she's had many awards.
Sweet. And a
lifetime
long
achievements
life.
And all of that, and a long life, and a great legacy through her children and grandchildren.
Yeah.
So, and a place in history helping with the civil rights movement through that nourishment.
She fed the
providing
movement.
them a space and the food while they planned their moves in the movement.
Yeah. I like it. Fantastic.
I just love that if you want something fancy, you go to Dooky's.
Yeah, right? The ironicness of that. Yeah.
Well, I saw a little video of one of her employees talking about her getting dressed up to go to her committee meetings. And they're like, she put on her high heels, her two-piece suit, and her mink. I was like, she was fancy lady.
Right, exactly. Strut.
Going to her committees, but then also cooking every day in the kitchen. And she was talking in one of the interviews about how she didn't feel good unless she worked a 16-hour day. I was like, Lord have mercy. Not
on your
me.
feet. Oh my goodness, yeah.
But come on now, a mink coat in New Orleans.
Right.
Boss.
Making me wonder if she ever crossed paths with Sister Rosetta Tharpe, because I feel like they would be buddies.
There you go. There's a chance.
Famous
Sister spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania, though, so I'm not sure.
She did travel around
Northern lady.
Yeah.
She has a quote, and I don't 100% know what I think of it. I love kind of the sentiment behind it to some extent. I don't know what I think about the think like a man part, but this is like painted on some things in New Orleans. But one of her famous quotes is, "You have to look like a girl, act like a lady, think like a man, and work like a dog."
Oh, I have heard this. Yeah,
laugh, but yeah.
Yep.
I mean, nothing against men, but
in the world where she was at,
pretty damn good about. Yeah, I mean, during her time period, yeah. I get what she's getting at, but
exactly, yeah.
Think like certain men.
Yes,
right.
That's true.
But I dig it.
I know. She sounds fun. I wouldn't mind watching even more about her. I was telling Leah and Bonnie as I read about her, I'm like, she sounds so familiar. Have I heard about her on the Food Network? Have I researched her before?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm glad you covered her on the show.
Yes. Thanks for listening to me go on and on about her. She's pretty cool.
I mean, to be passionate and excited about women's history, what we do.
Oh, and you know what? I guarantee you she probably ate a lot of fried food and she lived to 96, so icon.
Case in point.
Right? All the butter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're safe.
Fantastic. Yeah. Katie, did you want to wrap us up or did you want me to do it?
I got this. I have it pulled up. I'm ready.
Sweet. Look at that.
Well, that wraps it up for us this week. Join the Gals Guide podcast next week as we learn more about Nourishment the Table. Thanks for listening.
That's another woven thread into our personal and collective well-being tapestry. If you loved learning about women's history or are looking for some self-care, discover even more community and care at galsguide.org. Until next time, keep sharing women's stories.